Do you want to see the questions?
No, I don't want to see. I want you to summarize for me the general tone of what information you're seeking to achieve.
Go ahead. You can tell them what your two questions, what
All
your
right.
areas are.
So, what was your Jewish life like in Altoona? And what was your best memories of life in Altoona? I'd just like to know what it was like living in Altoona.
Living like Altoona for me. Not necessarily anything to do with my rabbinical experience. Because I was the rabbi here for 20 years, and for the last 9 years, I'm the rabbi laureate, means the visiting rabbi, which means that I'm in a little bit different category from the average senior that you're interviewing. You understand? So my answers may be somewhat more lengthy if I'm not given a time constraint.
There is a time constraint.
In other words, the question is, how many seconds does a person have to answer a question? So
10 minutes. 10
For
minutes.
each question?
10 minutes for everything.
10 minutes for the whole
Well, but
interview.
and-
It would be a limit to 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes at most for any question. And Joel will hold up his hand
One
after
thing I,
2
Rabbi,
minutes.
one thing I wanted to say to Ginger, and then you
Yes.
correct me if I'm wrong. Ginger, Rabbi Berger, from my understanding, had a unique distinction. I don't know if it's just in this country or worldwide, of being one of the only 1 or 2 rabbis that were ordained by both Orthodox and conservative.
The only one.
I'm sorry, Ginger. I apologize. So that might be something you want to add because, as I said, he's Rabbi's so unique that he's
I'm
the only.
at home, you see, in traditional conservative congregations and in Orthodox congregations. For me, I am raised in a very strict Orthodox home, but my father felt that the Orthodox schools where my brothers went told them that the last thing you ever want to think about is becoming a rabbi. Because there are too many compromises you have to make with the lay leadership. That means you can't really follow your conscience. Therefore, none of my brothers, I'm the youngest of 4 brothers, the youngest of 7 children, my father was desperate to have a son follow in his footsteps. And I was a good talker at the age of 5. I got up and made first public speech already. My brother's bar mitzvah. So I could out-talk my brother, the bar mitzvah boy at that time. And so my father wanted me to go to a liberal Orthodox school, Yeshiva University. And I won the scholarship as the outstanding student in Chicago. And Dr. Belkin's University came and offered me a full lifetime scholarship at Yeshiva University. So I ended up in modern Orthodox, which fits in with traditional conservative, almost with slight adjustments. And also I have a doctorate in psychology from Duke University, which means on religion and happiness, which took a very flexible view of all American religion and found their happiness on clinical, medical, diagnostic scales that religious people are happier than non-religious people, scientifically. You see what I mean? So my background is a little different from, I don't know of any other rabbi that has that has able to move comfortably between an Orthodox and a conservative and a modern American environment, so to speak. And I can deal comfortably talking to Christian groups. I tell them that 1918, everybody knows, was Armistice Day. I'm a veteran also. I served in Germany after the war. So people know that you have to end war. 1918, they say. We say is Armistice Day. So when I speak to veterans groups and others, I say they have the wrong 1918. You got 1918, the end of the First World War. That was the time when we thought that was the war to end wars. But look at now, we're bogged down now for already 4 years. The Second World War, the Korean War, we had so many wars since 1918. So what the meaning of 1918 is what the rabbis, what Rabbi Hillel and Rabbi Akiva said 1918 means, and that's in the book of Leviticus. You should love your neighbor as yourself, which Hillel and Rabbi Akiva said means you got to love everybody, but Rabbi Hillel is more practical. because he says 10 verses before that passage, it says, don't curse a deaf man, don't make a blind man fall, don't do things you can get away with. So therefore, there is a negative element here. So he says, love your neighbor has to be understood from the negative side. Never do anything to anyone else that you would not want that person to do to you. And that is a general rule and a specific rule. Whereas the rule, love your neighbor as yourself, that's a goal, because you need like 8 hours to sleep. You need a couple hours to go to school. You need it. You're busy 18 hours a day already. How are you going to do for everybody to love them as much as yourself? It's a goal. It can't be taken. But Hillel says there's a literal meaning to this. Don't say an unkind word. How do you like my dress? You're allowed to say it looks interesting. It looks nice. You know what I mean? You don't have to say it makes you look so disgustingly fat. It is such a horrible choice. Whoever sold you this dress? You understand? So that's the general drift. Are you taking some of this down, or
Alyssa's a litigator, so she'll take you over the calls on this, Rabbi.
we will meet in court after the interview? We want to meet with our lawyers and go over what is permissible to use and what is not permissible to use.
Okay.
Start the interview, please.
Okay. So what is your full name?
My full name in Hebrew is Harav Moshe Tzvi ben Harav Yaakov Yisrael, Rabbi Moses Herbert, the son of Jacob Israel. I'm known in circles Rabbi Herbert Berger, but in some places they call me Rabbi Moshe Berger.
Okay.
My name is Rabbi Herbert Berger, and some people call me by my close friends call me Moshe Berger, from my close friends, because I'm Moshe Herbert Berger. M.H. Berger.
Okay. And were you named after anyone?
Yes, I was named after my grandfather, and I am the youngest of 7 children, and that both of my grandfathers were great scholars and great businessmen at the same time.
Where were you born?
In the 30s.
Hey, can you say that again? I missed something that went off. Just say where you was born.
Okay.
I was born in Cleveland, Ohio. And you know where that is, the Ohio River, one of the Great Lakes, Lake Erie. And my parents had come over in time to escape Hitler, so that I adjusted to the period that, as when I was very young, we were adjusting to the rising anti-Semitism in Germany that was also infecting, in a way, the whole world. And it was a very critical time during the Depression. My father was a rabbi in Cleveland, and all of us studied day and night. We studied a lot in public school, but we studied also in Hebrew school. And we were also, my father was instrumental in bringing the Telza Yeshiva, the great Hebrew academy from Europe, to Cleveland. So we were surrounded by scholars from early childhood all the time.